Please be careful and at least a little bit skeptical when reading self reported posts on forums from past GMAT test takers. Obviously, the internet is awesome for a wide variety of reasons, and it's an incredible time to be alive as a human being because we can connect to other people who can relate to us. We can learn from others' experience in a way that really hasn't been possible up until this day and age. Having said that, there's also potential downsides, and I see a lot of students fall into these negative mental traps from reading a little bit too many forum posts. And so I just wanted to give a little bit of advice about this. The most important thing to keep in mind when you are looking at people's self reported stories of GMAT prep or MBA admissions is to remember to not believe too much in any one post. You want to be looking for broader themes that you can see across a wide variety of data points. Many of you work in quantitative and data driven fields, and so this concept of overfitting or overanalyzing a small amount of data will probably be very familiar to you, and you know it's very dangerous. For example, I just saw a post on a super popular forum where the person didn't include their final score. They recommended a single product and they said, don't use anything else no matter what you do. Now, this could make a good GMAT critical reasoning question, actually, because you might be thinking, well, what's the underlying assumption in that advice? One of the underlying assumptions is that everybody is exactly like me and has exactly my situation, which obviously is not true. Now, I'm not saying that person's advice is worthless. It might really touch on your heartstrings and it might be the exact thing that you need to hear to give you that extra boost of motivation in the day. And so, if that's the way that your mind and psychology personally works, then by all means, you should capitalize on the fact that other people post a lot on these forums. But please just be skeptical and make sure you're always asking the question, is this person in a similar situation to me? Do they have similar resources? And are they on a similar timeline? Do they have similar aptitude? And is there anything in this post that actually makes them super believable? Or is this just another post written by someone who might be a little bit difficult to trust? Now, one last thing here, if you're getting swept away by spending a lot of time on the forums and it's starting to bring you down and hurting your confidence, hurting your belief that this is possible for you, or just overloading you or overwhelming you to any degree, don't be afraid to shut it off, put on the blinders, and run your own race, so to speak. It's actually a phrase that I heard from a past cross country runner who I was friends with. And he talked about how when you're looking at everybody else in a cross country race who's around you, it starts to throw you off your own personal game plan for you to perform at your personal best. He said he always got the best race times and the best performances out of himself when he just focused on his own strategy and his own pacing based on what he knew about the terrain. Obviously, learn as much as you possibly can from people, but please don't be overemphasizing any one single data point. And that's especially true for people who had very high starting scores. Just be skeptical of taking advice from those folks, unless you yourself have a very high starting score. Be safe out there, everybody. Reach out anytime if there's anything we can do to help.